Hello YouTube, it has been quite some time. I know I've been away for a little bit, and well, I've been working on a tag with some friends of mine, and I figure it is high time that I release this out into the world. I am going to be looking away from the screen quite a bit as I'm reading off questions. I am calling this tag the Season of the Witch tag, and the first question: what things do you associate with fall? I grew up in southwestern Ohio, and some of the more true signs of fall, the temperatures would start getting a little bit cooler, the humidity would kind of start to leave, and the leaves would start changing to their browns and yellows, the reds, and then start falling from the trees. Then they would litter the ground, Halloween would come. Growing up, that meant we would be camping with a bunch of friends, bonfires, trick-or-treating. I look back on those days and I miss them. But they were an amazing experience, and I'm glad I had them. The second question: do you have any specific things that you do during spooky season? Well, Freeform usually does the 31 days of Halloween, so I'll watch a lot of those movies with my wife and kids and just hang out, decorate, put up the jack-o'-lanterns, the skulls, the creepy skeletal animals that you can get from any number of stores now. The third question: do you have any ancestral worship practices? I wouldn't really call them worship, but I have done some work with and work for ancestral spirits. I have cleared negative energies from what I'll call the family graveyard, which is a section of plots up on the hill in London, Kentucky. Don't think that I've got money and have people buried in Highgate or West or Abney Park or something. It would be cool if I did, though. Do you believe? The fourth question: do you believe in anything like ghosts? 100% yes. I've worked with ghosts for years now. Whether it was helping the spirits of children cross over after going through some healing with me, to interacting with ancestral spirits, my father, who comes to visit fairly frequently. Number 5. If you had to be any of the classic Universal Films horror monsters, who would you be and why? Man, I don't know that you can beat Dracula. Bela Lugosi was just fucking cool, man. You can't get much better than that. Sixth question: do you have any paranormal experiences that stands out to you? Yes. I took my best friend and one of our other friends to the movies. I think we had watched the 5th Harry Potter film. It was a fall night, cool and crisp night air, moon playing shadows across the trees. I wait until they get inside, give one quick beep, and what we now think was the Black Dakini, or Black Tara, one of Kali's manifestations, started heading towards me. I freak out and get out of there. Like, I was in a car that could just take off, so I did. I got about a mile away, called my friend. What was that? I was freaked out. I wasn't very knowledgeable in the occult yet, and I was legit scared. Another experience I had, I was alone in my papa's house, and I saw a shadow walking down the hallway as I was going to my room. I'm pretty sure that was my grandmother's spirit. I didn't feel any kind of malice or danger or anger from it. Just, yeah, somebody going about their daily stuff. Do you have a favorite witchy movie? Yeah, I'm gonna be a lame sap. Practical magic, you can't really beat it. I see a lot of witchy stuff in the Addams Family movies, but people may argue. But if I had to pick, I'd probably pick the Addams Family, but they're both good. What famous person that you associate with Halloween or witchy stuff would you most want to have dinner with? Honestly, like, if it's witchy association living, I would probably want to say Thorn Mooney would be pretty cool to hang out with. Historically, maybe somebody like John Dee or Austin Osman Spare, or the late great Peter Patton. I have quite a few names I could drop. So I think Thorn and Peter would be cool. If you haven't read any of Peter's books, look for them. They may be a bit harder to find since he has moved on to the realm of the ancestors, but he was a great influence and a very knowledgeable man. Question 9. Does the type of magic that you do change any in the fall or throughout the year? Not really. I always have kind of done spirit work and done a little bit of trance work. Work with energy and setting wards and travel. It doesn't really change much. Number 10. Do you have any fall or witchy traditions? Not particularly, but when I was living in Ohio, I would definitely sit outside more as the sun went down and the moon was coming up, and just feel that shift in the energy and enjoy the breeze through the trees. There was just something about it that was peaceful and magic at the same time. Number 11. Do you possess any ancestral relics? Do they play a role in your spiritual practice? I have items from both of my grandfathers. From my mom's dad, I have a club that he collected in World War II from Turkey. I do not use it in my magical practice. And I have a couple of hats from my dad's father. I don't use them in my practice either, but they are really cool to have. And I have an acoustic guitar from when my dad was a child. It needs extensive repair, and it honestly may mess the guitar up more than it currently is. So I have it, look at it, share memories of my dad. Number 13. If you work with ancestors, how did you learn about them? Do you work with any type of spirits in your practice? Over time, I've learned about spirits through going to the family cemetery, doing a little bit of looking through a family genealogy. I have a spirit that had a bit of a troubled past, alcoholism, and that affects him to now. I've limited my contact with him and interactions, but I acknowledge that he's there and the role he played as a forefather, but don't really work with him much. This last question came from Shadow Sun. The next question: what divination do you do the most during the fall season? And this comes from Starlight the Wild Witch. I'm not really big on divination, but I do a little bit of fire scrying, and I kind of do that just anytime. Another question is, what kind of food or drink do you enjoy most during the season? I used to love warm apple cider. There's just something about that flavor that takes me back to going to the Halloween camp out and just hanging out with friends, having fires that would shine like a beacon from Gondor calling for aid. And this one comes from Denny of the Forest from Starlight's Discord server, the Open Circle. What tradition from your childhood do you practice as an adult? And any new traditions that you're creating for this season? Really just watching a bunch of scary movies is carried over from when I was younger. As far as establishing traditions, due to certain things going on, I don't have the time to do that. But there are some things I would like to establish in the future. Next question is from Flora Sage. Is there anything you do not like about the fall season, and if so, why? Honestly, I really can't think of anything I don't like. Maybe, I don't know. Next question, do you have any silent routines that you carry out, such as a dumb supper or other type of observance? No, I do not, but it's something I would like to establish going into the future. Once I get settled into a more permanent place, I definitely want to set up like an outdoor altar and something of an ancestral space within the home. Next question, do you tell any scary stories with friends or family during the fall season or any point of the year? No, I don't, but I think it would be really cool to start that, or just telling stories in general. That way your ancestors' names and lives kind of get passed on to the next generation or people you care about. And question 21, and the last question. Do you believe the veil between the worlds is thinnest at Samhain? Why or why not? Well, my personal belief is that the veil is barely there anymore, but sometimes it is definitely more noticeable with spirits being around and abundant and active. So that's the season of the witch tag. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope to see responses and people sharing the tag across YouTube. We haven't had one of these in a while, and I kind of miss it. I hope everyone has an amazing Spooktober, and I'll see you next time.